is my persuasive speech. My audience is Les Meadows, Ivy Meadows, Fritz Timm, and Deb Timm. Imagine a world without power, without computers, and without many of the medical technologies we use today. Believe it or not, within 50 years, we will have used up all of our main energy source, fossil fuels. We need to change the methods we use for energy to a more sustainable, renewable energy source, such as solar, wind, or hydroelectric. Today I will tell you how we are using all of the Earth's fossil fuels, what will happen when we do, and how we can avoid the effects of fossil fuel depletion. I will also talk to you about what is already being done to convert to more sustainable energy. We are quickly depleting our resources. On the University of Michigan's website, there is a presentation by Osman Shabtai and David Shannon. They state the worst case scenario, we will entirely deplete the Earth's oil supply in 17 years. This means that in 17 years, we will no longer have the oil to supply the needs for our cars. A lot of the factories, or our economy, will drop because the factories that rely on oil and coal and other non-renewable energy sources will have to shut down because they have nothing. They're not being fueled. And also the food production will be jeopardized because the tractors that farmers use for farming and harvesting the crops, and also the ways they use for transportation that require gasoline, will be without their main source of fuel, and they won't be able to get the crops to the grocery stores and the markets. Once we run out of fossil fuels, we'll face a great danger, and life as we know it will be indefinitely changed. Now that we have seen the horrible effects, I will now tell you about some of the hope there is for us, even when we run out of fossil fuels. Fortunately for life on Earth, there are alternatives to fossil fuels. Solar, wind, hydroelectric are renewable and also more sustainable and therefore more sustainable than your fossil fuels, coal, petroleum, and oil. Some people that are against the change to a more sustainable energy source might say that these methods are too expensive. They are expensive in the short term, but solar and wind power, while they will be expensive to make the wind turbines and the fossil fuel, and the solar panels, in the long run, those solar panels and wind turbines will be there for ever, or for the most part, for a long time. And while fossil fuels, they are constantly having to be mined, refined, and they're drilling for these, which is costing the taxpayers and businesses billions of dollars every year. Also, hydroelectricity requires dams, and many of the major rivers in the U.S. are already dams and it can already produce electricity. In an article in the journal Renewable and Sustainable Energy Reviews during October of 2010, it talks about how India needs to switch to more renewable energy sources in order to support their ever-growing population. The article says that they have 33% of their energy coming from renewable sources. The article also says that India's progression toward having a sustainable energy grid is both supporting and broadening its fast-growing economy. Aside from that, it is also greatly cutting their carbon emissions and helping India take steps toward protecting the environment from climate change or global warming. Switching from fossil fuels to sustainable energy sources will both save money over time and supply us unlimited amounts of energy sources. Now that we have seen how renewable energy can help make the world better, we will now look at how some places have taken steps towards switching to sustainable energy and what it has brought them. When it comes to renewable energy, Germany stands out as the world's leader. In an article put out by Alternatives Journal in 2008, it says Germany has stimulated the renewable energy market. It has greatly lessened their carbon emissions, and at the same time has boosted their economy because they have not had to import energy since they began their switch to renewable sources. They have also used tiered pricing to make the system affordable for everyone, and that has greatly influenced its success. Now, are there any questions? Okay. So, this is my visual aid. It's a chart that shows how in 2009 the U.S.'s electricity generated by source. It shows that 44.9% is coal, 23.4% is natural gas, and 20.3% is nuclear, which is well over half, over 3/4 of our total energy. And only a little over 10% is actually renewable. Nuclear, natural gas, and coal are all non-sustainable and non-renewable sources. There are many ways to switch to renewable energy sources, and one very simple way to do is just to call your energy company and ask them about what renewable energy sources they offer, and then you can switch to them. They might be a little more expensive, but in the long run it will help the economy and help the environment. Puget Sound Energy, who provides energy to the majority of the Puget Sound or hydroelectric energy from the Grand Coulee Dam, is one of their main sources of energy. You can also buy solar panels from places like Amazon.com at a fairly inexpensive price to power different appliances around your house. For every small step people take, it is a step